Several thousand Negro demonstrators are participating in this largest civil rights demonstration ever in Memphis, Tennessee. Today, as the march moves up toward City Hall, Dr. Martin Luther King will speak to the striking workers and their sympathizers, now estimated somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000. Chaos has just broken out downtown.
All right.
Negro youth are smashing windows.
What is the condition of the city?
The city is under attack.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place.
This is WMBS Headline News at 8:25. Dick Wheaton reporting, Washington. U.S. authorities have revealed a shortage of bombs in South Vietnam is curtailing air attacks on the Viet Cong.
The president has frequently interrupted his day-long conference on Vietnam problems to stay in close touch with the volatile racial disorders throughout the nation.
The bombs in Vietnam exploded home. They destroy the dream and possibility for a decent America.
Let us close the springs of racial poison and make our nation whole.
The most massive series of demonstrations ever attempted is the promise of Dr. Martin Luther King, leader of a planned April civil disobedience drive in Washington.
I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
I will die standing up for the freedom of my people.
This has been Headline News from Radio Memphis, WMPS.
WMPS with the weather scope.
Here's the WMPS weather scope for Memphis and the Mid-South. Considerable cloudiness and mild, scattered showers through early Tuesday. Partly cloudy and continued mild Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday. The low tonight 55, the high Tuesday 75, and the low Tuesday night 50. The present barometric pressure 29.7.
This is Ray Sherman, United Press International in Memphis. 1,000 striking sanitation workers demanded Mayor Henry Loeb hear their grievances. The garbage collectors, predominantly Negro, want higher pay and union recognition.
We are insisting that justice must be done for the sanitation workers. All their just and fair demands must be met, and that at the same time, both private business and city government must provide a greater percentage of new and important jobs to Negroes.
This work stoppage directly affects the public health. Let no one make a mistake about it. The garbage is going to be picked up in Memphis.
I recognize Local 1733 as the bargaining representative for employees designating exclusive or otherwise. He doesn't want to recognize a union.
The Memphis chapter of the NAACP says the civil rights group will begin protest actions Monday unless the city meets demands of striking garbage collectors. Police used riot control gas and nightsticks this afternoon to break up a disturbance among a group of striking garbage men. Part of a group of about 1,000 marchers began rocking a police car, and police waded in.
If I were the mayor of this city, I would be ashamed. Anybody who runs around picking on peaceful people is building for trouble.
We probably cannot expect protection of Negro people from brutality and from repression locally. The ear and the power outside of the city of Memphis.
Dr. Martin Luther King has urged the Memphis Negro community to engage in a general work stoppage and school boycott in support of the city's striking sanitation workers.
So I come to commend you, and I come also to say to you that in this struggle you have the absolute support, and that means financial support also, of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. All over America, the vast majority of Negroes in our country are still perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. And it is criminal to have people working on a full-time job getting part-time income.
If the men do not return to work immediately, we will have no choice but to employ others to protect the public health.
This is Ray Sherman on the scene. Several thousand Negro demonstrators are participating in this largest civil rights demonstration ever in Memphis, Tennessee. This massive downtown march on Memphis is now underway. Several thousand Negroes are marching toward City Hall at this time. Many of the demonstrators are carrying the sign, "I am a man." They stretch out for several blocks. Later today, as the march moves up toward City Hall, Dr. Martin Luther King will speak to the striking workers and their sympathizers, now estimated somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000. Police are on hand with about 600 officers. Almost the entire force is standing by here in case any trouble might break out. Chaos has just broken out downtown.
All right.
Negro youths are smashing windows. I just saw. That sound you just heard was the sound of a tear gas fired by a police officer in an attempt to thwart this unruly demonstration. We repeat, several Negro youths started running down Main Street, smashing windows as they ran. Police are now moving down Beale Street. Another tear gas canister has just been fired by Memphis police. Negroes are running in every direction. Probably some more glass breakage in the downtown section of Memphis. The tear gas is boiling up from the street, and the Negro youths are fleeing from the area. Police are scrambling down Beale Street now. There's been a call of help from other officers. Officers are in trouble. The Negro youths are shouting at this time, "Go, go, go." Police have formed a cordon, and they're not permitting the march to move any further at this point. They're moving in with riot guns and tear gas canisters. Here comes the tear gas, and this reporter just got a sting of it. Main Street is littered with pickets. Nearly every store has had its windows shattered. There's no doubt one of the worst disturbances that have ever occurred in Memphis. This is Ray Sherman on the scene again. There went another tear gas canister. Some youths still hurling objects at officers. Police now have cordoned off the area around Claiborne Temple for this massive demonstration that went wild and crazy
began earlier today. Many of the Negro demonstrators have taken refuge inside the church from the tear gas that still fills the air. And inside, the leaders are appealing to the Negro youths and militants to stop and desist from this disorder and violence that has occurred in Memphis.
You obviously had a group of boys who were ready to do that, and they did it. They didn't come to the march. They didn't consult us. They're outside of our control, absolutely. Always have been. And this time they got their chance to break loose, and they took it.
What happened with Dr. King?
Well, we surrounded him with some ministers and moved him out of the area.
In an undisclosed location?
Yeah.
Do you think this event today will have any effect on the city government taking any different type of action than they have on the strike?
Oh, you can't allow this sort of terror and disruption to go on in a city like ours. You can be sure it'll have an effect.
When the march, which was to be permitted, had it remained orderly, degenerated into a riot, abandoned by its leaders, the police, with my full sanction, took the necessary action to protect the lives and property of the citizens of Memphis. There is hereby ordered and invoked a curfew which requires all citizens to be off the streets of the city of Memphis by 7 p.m. tonight and remain off the streets until 5 a.m. Persons on the streets during these hours who do not have legitimate business or emergency reasons will be subject to arrest. What needs to be done will be done.
There will be 4,000 troops in this city by 6 p.m. and the governor's message is that he is going to maintain law and order. We should not let fear get the best of us. And we're going to stop this thing and see that peace comes back to this community.
These troops are armed. Are they carrying ammunition?
Yes. Here, they protect themselves, of course. If the situation demands it, they will return to fire.
General, do you have any idea of what the cost is of this operation to the taxpayers of Tennessee?
Yeah, I'd be afraid to make a guess offhand. It's no small cost.
Governor Buford Ellington has ordered 4,000 National Guardsmen into the city. He has also ordered 200 riot-trained state patrolmen to Memphis and has placed an additional 8,000 guardsmen on standby alert at armories near Memphis.
The National Guard has been called in. We've had looting and burning, and several police officers have been hurt. We're trying to get it under control at this time, but at this time it's spreading.
Was it spontaneous or planned?
Well, it was very much spontaneous. I think we better go on record as saying anyway. That was first.
You mean it was not spontaneous, but on the record you want to say it's spontaneous?
Well, I think we'll just let these problems just iron themselves out, however people want to take it. Black people are tired.
Your group had nothing to do then with trying to take over Dr. King's march yesterday.
Well, I can't actually say concretely whether we're glad to see the city of Memphis wake up to reality.
I must honestly say that demonstration here yesterday was something that I had no part in planning. I was invited here by the leadership to take part, and we came cold. We didn't know all of the factors involved. I came here to make a speech 2 weeks ago where some 15,000 people assembled, and I assumed that some of the ideological struggles that we find in most cities over the nation, particularly in the North, were non-existent here. Riots are here. Riots are a part of the ugly atmosphere of our society now. And I would rather put my time and place my energy into getting rid of these conditions, because as long as they're here, they're going to produce angry people.
We're still having isolated incidents of vandalism and some fires, but certainly there's a tremendous decrease, and I think this is due in part to the guard being present and a heavier patrol.
I'm convinced that nonviolence is the way and that violence is not the answer.
Does that mean there will be no more violence in Memphis?
Well, I can't guarantee that there will be no more violence after we leave and go to Washington. I'm simply saying that we are going to have a nonviolent demonstration here.
Dr. King, what are your plans?
I will be leaving Memphis later today, going back to Atlanta, and my next step would be to come back to Memphis, and that, we hope, can take place in the next 2 or 3 days.
Dr. King.
We've got to give ourselves to this struggle until the end. Nothing would be more tragic than to stop at this point in Memphis. I want to thank God once more for allowing me to be here with you. I left Atlanta this morning and then I got into Memphis. And some began to say the threats, or talk about the threats that were out. What would happen to me from some of our sick white brother? Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
That could come tomorrow. Scott Peters, United Press International, the White House. President Johnson has signed the Civil Rights Bill of 1968.
Now with this bill, the voice of justice speaks again.
In an East Room ceremony, the president made the bill, with its controversial fair housing section, the law of the land.
The city of Memphis recognizes the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees as the designated representatives in the Division of Public Works.
Go ahead, Brother Jones, take the vote.
All in favor of the recommendation, let it be known by saying aye.
And we're not going to let. I'm telling you now on the behalf of these preachers, we're not going to forget the fact that we're bound by the blood of Martin Luther King, as well as by the sweat and toil that we've all given.
The Justice Department has announced that James Earl Ray, the accused assassin of Dr. Martin Luther King, has been arrested in London, England. It was said that Ray's arrest was the result of investigation by the FBI pursued in all 50 states, as well as in Canada, Mexico, Portugal, England, and other countries. It was said that Ray was detained in England based on his use of fraudulent documentation, a passport, and also on the fact that he was carrying a concealed weapon.
The citizens of Memphis are elated over the apprehension of James Earl Ray. And now it's our duty. It'll be a privilege to carry it out.
I think it needs to be said clearly that so far as the black community is concerned in Memphis, many of us question the idea that only one man was involved. Knowing, as an example, how efficiently our police can block off would-be bank robbers from getting out of the city, we'd like to know how one man committing a crime with the police on the scene within 2 minutes could nonetheless get out of the city by himself.
Do you feel that James Earl Ray could have planned this thing and executed it and done it completely by himself?
I think so. My position is that we have no evidence of a conspiracy. There were several indications in his background that he was anti-Negro and anti-Semitic.
To some this is a day of sorrow. To some this is an occasion for fear. To me this is a day of hope. And if the lives and deaths of Dr. King and Medgar Evers and those 4 little girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham had any meaning, it was that we should use our power not to create conditions of oppression that lead to violence, but conditions of hope that lead to peace. Let us pray as Dr. King prayed in the universal psalm of brotherhood that meant so much to him and to you and to all of us, and that should be the prayer of this holy day. If we can help somebody as we pass along, if we can cheer somebody in this life, if we can show somebody that he's traveling wrong, then our lives shall not be in vain.